Hi folks, I wanted to take a few minutes just to walk you through the topic and research question assignment, which is due to come up this week. In order to do that, I'm going to share with you my screen just for a moment so that we can actually take a look at the assignment itself. You'll see when you go into Moodle, when you click on the topic and research question itself, the breakdown is fairly straightforward for you. There are 4 key elements, and the paper really should be about 2 to 3 pages, although some students need to go a little bit longer in order to cover all of the areas. 4 key components. The first one is the topic itself. The second one is the research question. Thirdly, the preliminary hypothesis, and then lastly, the evidence that you're going to look for as you complete the assignment. And there are 3 questions that I would advise you to think about as you walk through each of those 4 sections. The first one is, what is it that you're working on? This is the topic. This is a broad area of study. Secondly, what is it that you want to find out? In other words, what are your specific research questions? Now, for some of you, you already have a question in mind. For others, you'll develop that question as you move through this assignment. And then lastly, what's the purpose? How is your work going to help other people understand the issues that you're talking about? Remember that all the research you conduct really needs to be, if at all possible, research that applies to other people, and so that we can all benefit from the collective intelligence. So let's look at each of the 4 areas. Again, very straightforward, I believe. The topic itself really should be an outline of the broad area that you're going to research. So if you are a classroom teacher, it may be an area of the classroom. Maybe it's classroom management, or maybe it's curriculum and planning, or maybe it's student attitudes or engagement levels, or parent involvement. If you're not in a classroom, maybe you're in a counseling setting, maybe your question is something along the lines of the best types of treatment for a specific situation. Maybe it's building ethical relationships. Maybe it's your ability to keep detailed and well-organized files. Really can be any area that you believe has a significant interest to you, but also to a broader population. Once you've done that, the idea then is for you to generate a research question. And normally I would encourage students to generate multiple questions, because we're not quite sure what we want to study at this time. And as you go through this assignment, you should not think that your first set of questions, or topic even, is what you're likely to end up with. Truth is, as you work through the questions and as you work through the options, your own area of research will probably solidify a little bit better, and almost certainly become clearer to you as you go through these assignments. But basically, the idea is to try and identify multiple questions that you think are the most relevant to the topic you've chosen, and then through a process of elimination or alteration, for you to really hone that down to 1 or 2 main questions. Once you've done that, the idea next is to develop a working hypothesis. So really what we're looking to do here is to take the question that we've developed, or maybe it's 2 questions, and really look at a hypothesis that we believe that we could share. Hypothesis should give a very clear indication of what results you would expect to see in relation to your question. So what are you thinking and what are you expecting as you move through this particular question? And then lastly, but certainly not leastly, the idea is for you just to begin collecting appropriate evidence. Why have you chosen the topic, and why is it relevant? Why are the questions that you've raised important, and why do you believe that the hypothesis actually stands up? So really a brief discussion of what kinds of evidence you think that you need to find. Maybe you found some already, but really the evidence is going to be critical as you move forward with the research in a little bit more depth. So now I want to share with you the rubric for the assignment itself. And you can see that the rubric here is really straightforward. You're going to get points assigned to the topic itself. You know, have you clearly outlined it? Is it relevant? Does it really look at a problem that could be useful to other people? Then we're going to look at the research question. For that, you can read research questions. Sometimes students ask me whether or not it's okay to have multiple questions. It absolutely is at this stage, and those will tend to narrow as you conduct your review of the literature. You're then going to get a series of points for the hypothesis that you have developed, and then the evidence that you put forward. The last set of points is the writing style and format. Remember, we're looking towards doing two things. First of all, formatting using an APA format. You should be able to find plenty of information regarding how to lay your papers out with an APA format. But then also really having a scholarly tone, making sure that you work your way through what it is that you're discussing in good detail in order for the reader to genuinely understand what it is that you're trying to say. In my opinion, and this is only my opinion, normally better to separate the paper out under the headings that you know you're going to be graded upon. That way, when grading the paper, it's very easy to assign points, and I know when you're moving from a research question discussion into your hypothesis or into your evidence. So it really should be fairly straightforward, I think. I think the assignment is usually one that helps you focus your thoughts, usually one that will allow you to think through your question, and don't worry too much about not being completely comfortable with the research questions that you're designing. I think that's something that happens as you move forward with your research process. Hopefully this gives you a fairly easy overview. Everything that you need is in the course shell. If you have any questions, feel free to contact me, and I'll do my very best to answer them at your convenience. I look forward to speaking to you again soon.